Hello, welcome. I'm grandmother Jonette Crowley, and I'm coming to you from the Medicine Hoop of Life in New Hampshire. Yesterday was our ceremony, and we gather twice a year with the other grandmothers to do a healing circle for the world. So the energies here are so sacred, and I'm coming from grandmother's office, so it's not my normal place. And you see a lot of her totems, a lot of her indigenous artifacts, and you can't really see most of them. So I invite you. This topic today for the month of October is clean up your act. A new world requires a new you, and there's no doubt we're moving into a new world. So I invite you really to feel like you're in this medicine wheel. As I look out the window here, the medicine wheel is the medicine hoop of life is outside. So take a deep breath and find yourself in a holy, sacred circle with elders of all worlds, all beliefs. And the theme of the healing circle now is of the medicine wheel is healing. So open yourself to healing. October is very much about healing the imbalances that we've come to take for granted. I'm saying that a new world requires a new you. And we need to clean up our act because our act has been based on separation, based on protection, based on being a little bit lost. And as consciousness changes, as the intensity of the frequencies magnifies, so much will show up in our face. So really the theme of this whole next year is healing, especially healing the imbalances. So for October especially, look at your coping mechanisms. Where do you retreat when the world isn't working? Do you retreat into sadness, into anger, into helplessness, into blame? Where do you retreat when the world is hard? And feel what triggers you, because everything that triggers you in the outside world is not in the outside world. It's in here. And as we move to the age of Aquarius, as we move out of this dark age that we've been in for thousands of years, we need to have a new self. So how you know what to look at is what's in your face, what's disturbing you now, what's making you angry or frustrated. That's exactly our starting place for October. In the big picture, we are moving from me-centered, where we want to be protected, we want to be safe, to we-centered, which is much more interconnected. And you might imagine that for tens, hundreds of thousands of years, we have been in an out breath. So we've moved from unity, consciousness of oneness, exploring separation, exploring individuality, creating the color and the possibilities and the interconnections of out-breathing, of expanding into individuality. And that's given us our colorful, amazing world. And now it's as if we're having a cosmic in-breath, and we're taking all that color, all that individuality, all that we've learned in hundreds of thousands of years, and we're bringing it back more into unity consciousness, more into a sense of interconnection. So as you can imagine, as we pull, and this in-breath will last for hundreds of thousands of years, it's not overnight. We have the beauty of the individuality and the separation, along with a re-emergence of our connectivity. So in this month of healing, cleaning up your act is to get more in line with the consciousness of interconnection, the consciousness of oneness, the consciousness of not needing to protect, not needing to fight, but finding kindness everywhere. So really, my invitation is to see where you're trying to cope and it isn't working, and take these expansive energies and hold them. On Wednesday, 3 days ago, I was in the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid, and we had some private time there. And what I saw and what we felt was this amazing pillar of light. And there, and Father Sky, Mother Earth, there was no separation. And the pillar of light, in my vision in the pyramid, became a tube torus. So the energy came up, flowed around in all directions, and then up again, creating this sun disk, creating this momentous energy field of re-magnification. So for a moment, imagine yourself in the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid, feeling that you are connected to all the light and the power of Mother Earth. And all the light and the power of the cosmos. Feel the electrification, the healing, the clearing, feel revitalized, energized with a new vibration. Notice how your aura is so much bigger. Again, moving from individuality and protection to connection. And this month, really pay attention to healing the imbalances, cleaning up your coping mechanisms that have not worked. Maybe they worked when you were younger, but as we move into this new age, we don't want to drag those old ways of being, those old reactions into our new world. And the final thing I invite you to look at today, when we were in Egypt, we went to the temple at Luxor. And way back where most of the tourists don't go, there's a inner temple, and it's got several chambers. As you enter this inner temple, the first chamber has 7 doors. So there's gates, and you count them, there's 7 gates. And you can look at them and feel them, but you don't have the keys. As you go further into the temple in another room, there are 7 ankhs or keys. And what that said to me is we're going to see our next gateway before we know how to move through it, before we have the key. So my invitation to you is look for the 7 biggest breakthroughs, the 7 doorways that are next for you. And then imagine that you go into your inner sanctum and you ask to meditate and bring in the 7 keys that will open those doors for you. I invite you to actually write down what you think those doors represent. And it doesn't matter, there's no right answer, because once you get through there, there's 7 other doors. It's like the 7 chakras and then 7 higher chakras. So there's always 7 doors, and there's always keys for them. And in that temple of Luxor, when there were the 7 ankhs, above them was the sun disk. And that's what we're looking for: enlightenment, light, oneness, wholeness, holiness, and brilliance. So, in conclusion, October is really a time to face yourself, face how you've been coping, and clean up your act. And I remind you that we have an activation. It's not in October, it's November 1st, which is the new moon, and it's also All Saints Day. November 1st is our trilogy activation, which is called Outside the Timelines, because in this new space we're going, we really are moving outside of linear time. And there's so much healing that can take place, so much spiritual growth outside the timelines. So thanks for being part of this consciousness update. Thanks for being part of this consciousness update, how we are updating consciousness, each in our own way. Thank you. Blessings from the grandmother's medicine hoop of life. Thank you.